folks. Today we have a special video. We are talking with Anomaly. He's been in the Discord a while. He's been posting some really nice, consistent wins. And we're going to hear a little bit of his story. And hopefully we put a face to the name because I know we've been talking about Anomaly and Anomaly. And today we have him in person. So thank you, Anomaly, for joining.
I want to say thank you for having me. Honestly, it's been a great pleasure finally getting to talk with you. And you guys will have to excuse my nerves. I haven't done like an interview like
A little
this.
nervous.
Yeah, a little nervous. The last interview I did was just a job interview, basically. I'm not used to this. I'm not the biggest social person, but I truly appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate you having you on because we've been seeing you in the Discord and you've been posting again really nice P&Ls and from what you've said it's real money, so we're taking your word for it. Again, day trading's risky, guys, but today we're gonna hear from Anomaly to open us up a little bit. Tell us just maybe a little background. You can start wherever you want, and maybe a little bit about your trading journey.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So I do have to start off with I'm just a young or a island boy from a small island called Rhoda. It's in the Northern Mariana Islands. The population is less than 2,000, so very,
Oh,
very tiny island.
oh wow.
I lived there for about 9 years, and then my father joined the military and got us out here to the U.S. And we ended up at Tennessee for 7 years. And eventually, my father got stationed in Texas, which led me to where I'm at now. And I've been here since 2014. So moved around a little bit, not too much, but I am a military brat. So that's that. And with the military history, I graduated high school here in Texas in 2016. And leading up to graduation, I honestly didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. I wasn't someone that really pursued, like, I wanted to be a doctor, or I never really aspired to really be anything. And I'm not trying to say that in a negative way. It's just for
Right.
some reason, I just never had like a job that, hey, this is my dream job. This is what I want to do. So with that, I followed my dad's footsteps after graduating high school and I joined the military myself. I was about 18 years old when that happened. And this is where things take a little bit turn for me. And I think me not really having like that job that I wanted to do kind of took a turn. And I don't want to put the blame on anybody but myself, but around a couple years in the military, I did end up getting into some trouble that honestly got me kicked out the military. And once that didn't work out, I ended up moving back home with my parents while I figured out what was going on with the stuff I was dealing with that got me in trouble. And when I got back to Texas, I was working jobs like Buffalo Wild Wings, working factory jobs, and just something about it honestly was not, it didn't feel right. Every single job that I've been to never really felt like, hey, this is the one, this is what I love. I can see myself doing this for so long. And yeah, so after doing that for a couple months, I ended up hearing back from Florida, which is where actually I got into some trouble from. And I had to go back and do 6 months in jail. And I say this because it's very important because I feel like there's times in your life when you can reach the bottom. And that's, as much as I hate to say it, but I mean, I love to say it. That's where you really find yourself, where you really find what you want to do,
Mhm.
what turn and what route you want to take with your life. So after doing jail, I moved back in with my parents and I worked with my mom in her food truck business for a couple of years. And during that time, I met back with my wife, who I dated back in middle school, and we end up having our kids. So I am a father of three, and after my first son, I talked with my mom, hey, it's about that time. I have to go out and get a job to support my son and just start trying to find that route that, okay, where do I want to take my life and what do I want to do with my family that I'm building. So I ended up going to this job. I ended up actually going to Chipotle for $16 an hour. And while I was there, I got another call from another manufacturing job. I go to manufacturing, and okay, now I'm here. Now I'm here making. I think at the time I was making about $17 an hour. And even then, I still just did not feel like this is it for me. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And eventually, I met a kid who was 18 and he was pulling out his portfolio, talking about the stock market with my boss. And for some reason, something just like caught my attention. I'm like, yo, what is this kid talking about? He showed me his portfolio. It was about $10,000. And guys, I don't come from money by any means. I'm not made of money. $10,000 at the time for me was, wow, this kid is rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has a lot more money than I've ever seen in my account. So I start talking with him while he's there, and he starts talking to me about inflation, the stock market, investing, stuff like that. And it was all really new to me. But for some reason, just everything he was saying, I just felt like a sponge. Like, yo, I want to learn more about this. This is, yo, let me hear more. I would ask him tons of questions. And eventually, during that time, while I was at that job, I was learning a lot about the lingo, the terminologies, what are candlesticks, investing, just becoming more financially literate. Because, like I said, I don't come from money. I was never really taught how to manage money, stuff like that. And I entered into the deepest rabbit hole I've ever found myself in and just fell in love with the market. And with that, I started finding out, okay, there's investing, there's trading, there's swing trading, there's just a whole new world coming into this. And for some reason, just trading, it looked like a video game to me. And back then in high school, all I wanted to do was play games like Call of Duty, RuneScape, and I would just play
Yeah.
that. I would play that for hours and hours. And that's where I found my passion. And I was like, man, if I can do this for a living, I would love to do this. And it's just me having kids. Call of Duty wasn't really the way for me and stuff like that. I had to really set my family up for some sort of, success. And while I was digging into that rabbit hole, when it came to trading, I actually came across Ross Cameron. So I'm sure a lot of people, when it comes to small caps and your retail traders, you come across Ross. So I came across Ross, and at the time, he used to do like pre-market live streams, and he
Hmm.
would stream his, and I would see he would make tons of money in like an hour, less than an hour, 2 hours. And I was like, wow, like I would love to do this because the job I'm at now, I'm here spending 8 hours a day and barely making 100, $200 a day. And this guy is working 1 hour, making thousands. You know what I mean? So eventually I just started watching his videos, studying. And through that time, I was really just learning about the markets, how things work, what exactly, just like I was saying, the lingo, the terminology, stuff like that. But I fell in love with it. And at the time, I was working a day job. And I was like, okay, in order for me to make this work, I need a night job that will allow me to, put time into the market in the morning so I can trade. And eventually, after saving up some money, I talk with my wife. I tell her, hey, look, I really feel like I can take a shot at this. And I quit that job. I went to another job and I was working from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. Okay. And this job was paying me about $21 an hour, but it gave me the time that I needed to put into the market. Like, hey, okay, the opening hours, I'm free. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So going to this job, it was about an hour commute. So guys, I would leave the house at like 3, get to work at 4 p.m., work all the way to 4 a.m., drive all the way back and get to the house about 5 in the morning. And I was working this job 60 to 84 hours a week. So completely insane schedule. But I told my wife, hey, I really want to do this. So every time I would come home, I would go to sleep for a couple hours, wake up about 7:38, and then just come into it. I felt like a zombie. I'll be completely honest with you. I felt like a complete zombie. But I started this. I actually want to bring. I'll show you guys
Yeah,
my
yeah.
my
You want to bring
trader
it to your
view.
screen here?
I'll show it to you guys in a bit, real quick. So I got to this new job in November. Okay. And I did the 60 to 84 hour weeks while doing, I started the simulator on Thinkorswim, and I was making thousands on the simulator. I just felt like I knew it all. And I've heard a lot of people say that the simulator and Thinkorswim is laggy, a little bit delayed, stuff like that. So at the time, I didn't know that. It was just me. And I was showing people at work, like, yo, I'm making 5,000, 6,000, 20,000 on the simulator. I'm like, yo, I can do this. It just needs to be real money now. You know what I mean? I feel like I got this unlocked. So I'm doing the simulator, and this is where things start really coming together. And I find it crazy how the universe works. But now I will share the screen,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
let me
bring it up.
make sure I remember how to do this. Okay, share,
Yeah, this is a
okay,
pretty wild story so far. I mean, working all night, waking up.
share screen.
Holy
Okay,
smokes.
so I come across this video, like I was telling you guys how I was studying Ross. I came across this video, and this is Tim. Okay. I come across this video and I see that Tim is taking hundreds of orders, hundreds, and Ross is taking barely any trades. And I'm like, yo, how is this guy doing it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe this is something I need to figure out. So eventually I dig into the rabbit hole some more. Eventually, watching Tim, I come across the Relentless community. And it just so happened while I'm doing the sim every single day, the way the algorithm works, it's crazy, but I come across this video by you. Give me 1 second to pull it up. This video. From Call of Duty to Thinkorswim,
Coming full circle.
video games can help you be a better stock trader. And I said this to my wife after watching the video, and I said, babe, something about this guy, something about this video, something brought me to this video, and everything that I've ever dreamed of about playing Call of Duty for a living, RuneScape for a living, maybe this is it. This is the crack. So after watching this video, that's when I start coming across like, oh, this guy streams every single day. He streams live, stuff like that. So I start studying you at work every single break. I would study you every single anytime I had, I would study your live streams. Day in, day out, any break, anything. My wife knew I was on a mission, a complete mission. So through that time, I'm in the simulator from I'm not sure how to get this to 2023, but I basically was in the simulator from November all the way up until this point. And I'm saying you guys had like the hottest month in February. You guys, it was just insane.
Oh, yeah, I remember
And
that. Yeah.
at the time I was in the simulator and I was having a hot month in the simulator, you know? So I was like, okay, all I need is 25,000 to fund my account and I can be making what you guys are making. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
immediately in my head, that was the case. So just like I sent this to you, all the money I had saved at the time was about 13,000. And I do not recommend this. I do not recommend this at all. But I liquidated all my stocks, pulled all the money I had, and I got a personal loan of this
Oh,
amount and funded my account. Pure belief that I could do this. So I fund the account. And now we get started February 27th. And mind you, I think this market was so hot that you could buy and practically close your eyes and sell and you'd have some sort of
hmm
money.
hmm
So this is how my first 3 days went. Real money. Okay. And I tell my wife, look, I just made what I make in a month in like 3 to 4 hours of trading. So I was like, okay, this is it. I cracked the code. We're going to be millionaires. So going into March, this happens.
Ouch.
I lose the entire 4,000 plus 4,000 on top of that. And I told my wife, look, the reason I lost this money is because I'm working this job that's taking 12 to 14 hours of my day. And I'm doing this off a little bit of sleep. And I told her, look, all I need is to give this more focus. And I promise you I can do this. And this, mind you guys, I'm not trying to say this to be cocky or anything, but I really seriously believe if you believe in yourself and you truly, truly deep down have no doubts you can do something, I promise you, you can do it. No matter what anyone says to you, if you have that belief in yourself, that can take you a really long way. So coming up to March 9th, that's what I had to talk to my wife about. I said, hey, I lost this. You know what I mean? I promise it's just because I I'm doing this off a little bit of sleep. So I don't know why I blurred it. I accidentally cut it, but below this, I actually had a $5,000. I'll show it to you that way to show some transparency. But I had a $5,000 loan below this as well. So it got me just a little bit back above PDT. So I tell my wife, okay, this day on March 10th, my job required me to work that day, which would have put me at an 84-hour work week. Guys, I have 3 kids and I would never see them. I would never see my kids. I would never have time to really do anything because of this job. So I told my wife when I was driving there, I said, this is it. I'm quitting this job. If it's going to be one thing I'm going to drop, it's not going to be trading. Because in the long term, my goal is to work from home and give time to myself, my family, watch my kids grow up. And I just didn't. Like I said, I did not see myself doing that job for 20 years. So I took a complete risk and quit the job. Coming into that week, I make like $400 and I'm like, okay, I can do this. You know what I mean? But then I talked with my wife. I said, hey, look, let me go back to this job because they gave me like a grace period. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're not actually done with this job until this like certain grace period. So I told my wife, hey, let me just go back to the job, use up all my PTO. That way I have some more money saved up just in case. Okay. So that Wednesday, after this trading day, I went into the job at like 4, just like I was saying, I was working from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. I went into that job. And as soon as I showed up, because I already told my boss I was going to quit. As soon as I showed up, they fired me, fired me on the spot because I already told them I was going to quit. So now I'm talking to my wife like, okay, this is no joke. I really did just quit my job. It's time to pursue trading full time. And I really, really feel like that affected me. I don't know what it was, but the nerves were there. This is real. I quit my job. I'm all in. And this happens. Um, On my account at the time, I had a little bit of wiggle room just because of this. And going into the next day, I lose this again, completely,
A huge
complete,
setback.
yeah, huge, huge setback. So after this day, I talked with my wife. Hey, look, I am $4 above PDT, and I'll show you guys my videos. I completely sized down. I am $4 above PDT. This day is make it or break it for me. If I do not, you know what I mean? I can't keep putting, I don't want to put our family in like a financial hole because of this. I don't want to. I've just seen stuff on Wall Street bets on Reddit that I just don't want to end up like one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I have $4 above PDT. I'm completely sized down. I'm trying to get the video put up. That way you guys could just can see how sized down I was to try and do this.
Right. By
That
the way,
you
guys, he
know.
does have a YouTube channel. We're gonna have the link in the description where he does post.
Okay. So this is it right here. I am using So this is I'm using 20 shares, 60 shares, 100 shares, very, very small
Yep.
size. Okay. At the end of the day, I don't think I had my full P&L pulled up at the time, but I made $50.96, just enough to give me some wiggle room to survive this brutal game that we play. Okay. And then eventually the wins start adding up. $50, $30. I'm making some progress. Okay. This part, I'm pretty sure I completely revenge traded. Some of these thumbnails don't fully reflect like my recording because at the time I would only put what I would record as the thumbnail at the time. But basically, I get all these tiny wins and I'm making some wiggle room. I'm making some progress, all with small size. Then we go into April. Okay. This is all off my studies, off watching you, watching just videos on YouTube, doing research. No real course. I have not bought any real course at this time. But around this time, I ended up switching from the Thinkorswim level 2 to Dash level 2. And I'm like, okay, maybe I do have something figured out. I'm just trying to. You guys always talked about buying dips. I don't know. I didn't know. I can't even remember what exactly I was doing, but I was still managing to survive the game. But the thing that you guys can notice is I didn't have a max loss in place. I didn't know what max loss was. I didn't know where to stop. I didn't know when to call it a day. So I had these big outlier red days. And then coming into May, this happens. Another big day. I think
Mm-hmm.
this just brought me about to like break even already. Somewhere I was basically just breaking even because of those big outlier red days and still in that drawdown that I previously had. And then May 5th, after watching you for so long, Farmer, I'm gonna gas you up a little bit. You are a very consistent trader. Your approach is very consistent. You manage stuff, your emotions really well. You hold your trades, you know when to cut. Like just the way I've seen you go about different markets and experiencing the market for myself, like within this time, I said, okay, this guy is clearly very transparent. He shows everything, he shows his live streams, he talks about this light bulb moment. And I just never had that light bulb moment. So I told my wife after this big day, I said, babe, I got to do something. Okay. So this weekend, I'm very skeptical when it comes to buying people's courses because everybody in the market that just the time I've been learning are all selling courses. You know what I mean? They're all selling courses. They're all millionaires. I didn't know who to believe. But after months of watching you live every single day. And I was like, okay, I believe this is the most transparent trader I have found, the most consistent. This guy is making crazy money. He trades for a couple hours and then he leaves. This guy is insane. And just like I was telling you guys with that video of Call of Duty, I think I closed it already. But there's something attracting me to you. So I tell myself to my wife, look, I'm just gonna buy his course. Hopefully it's worth it. And I pulled the trigger. So I bought the course May 5th. I sized down. I started doing what you teach 90, 270, 450. And I'm studying the course. I've watched the course honestly 3, 4, 5 times. I can't even remember, but I've seen all the videos multiple times. And I really, really want to say doing that, eventually things started to click. I started getting that light bulb moment. But I want to tell to aspiring traders as well, profitability does not come from, hey, I made this one change and that's it. In all honesty, in my honest opinion, I believe it's a numerous amount of factors that gets you to profitability. It's discipline, your self-control, you're managing your emotions, your risk, and You have a consistent approach to the market. Like it's all things leading up to that light bulb moment that eventually on, I think it was this day, this weekend, I'm reviewing, watching, okay, what where does that light bulb happen for me? Because you always talk about it. Where does it happen for me? So eventually I reviewed my stats, I looked at everything, and I went back to see that this month, April, this is my best week ever. What did I do this week without the course? And then how can I incorporate that with what I did with the knowledge with the course? And eventually, guys, like I said, I am not made of money, but I created a spreadsheet that eventually I put everything down. I put everything in a spreadsheet that I needed to base myself off of. I just needed stuff written down that, okay, this is it. So I created a spreadsheet and I created rules for myself, principles I should not break in order for me to consistently have. I wanted a consistent approach. So slowly, what caused me to give back so much profits? I didn't have a max loss, and what can I do? Make a max loss. Make that rule. What's a max loss? You know what I mean? So it's just having that written down, like, hey, at this
Mhm.
point, I am done. So I wrote that down. I actually got this from Heaven with a D, where he talked about trailing stop loss. Now I
Right.
now use that, and I that's something I still struggle with. Just like today, I still struggle with that. And I just created rules for myself. And then slowly over time, I started increasing my size, started increasing it. I reminded myself what is discipline. To aspiring traders, when you're coming into trading, I truly recommend you know why you're getting into this. Why am I getting into this? Because I want to devote my time back to my family, my kids. I want to watch them grow up. I want to give them a better life that these jobs I've been working, I've just never been able to, I never really had money to give, man. I'm working $20 an hour just all my time. I'm not making much money to get by. So this is my why right here. My kids, excuse me, my kids, you know, I just wanted to give them a better life. And that alone, like really set it in stone that, hey, if I honor my rules, that means I'm honoring my family, you know. So I need to respect it. And that's still something I deal with. And this is my why right here. I created, hey, guys, you guys can this can be very silly to some people, but every single morning before the market opens, I read this. By September 29, this is my dream job, guys. I wanted to be a day trader. So in you know technical terms, it's a securities trader. But I set a date for myself, and I tell myself every morning, every night that on this day I will be doing this full time with a net worth above 300,000. And lately we've just been destroying it. And I don't know if it's this visual, but I see myself doing this. I see myself doing this in 20 years. There's something about this career that I finally feel like, hey, this is it for me. And I say this, I feel like this quote is very important to aspiring traders that there may be times where you feel defeated, you feel like all things have gone wrong, but like I said, that's where your opportunity comes. This is where you find yourself. This is where you figure out and you set it in stone why you're doing this. So I put this, I created a sheet of what exact stocks I do. I like to trade. You know what I mean? Just having things written
Mhm.
down makes things so much easier. And a bunch of this is research from online. So I did not make up a lot of these. Like there's stuff in here that I've got online. I just put it into a way that I understand it more. All this stuff, a bunch of that is about your setups that I've learned from your course. So guys, if you really, really want to be approach this 50-50 style, I really recommend getting the course. And I don't want to spoil it because I do have setups from what I've seen in the course. And like I said, guys, it is worth it. So we're here now. Now we're here. And now we've been doing really good. June was my first $10,000 month. July, my a wild month. August, just
Oh
things have been going really insane. And then September, I was on a hot streak. Like I said, my max loss at the time was 900. I've been on a hot streak, so this day I increased it. And then now we are here to October. And guys, I increased my risk tolerance. I started taking big size. I said, hey, if I want to continue making this amount of money, I just need to increase my max loss because having a $900 max loss, taking 12K size, 9K size, in my honest opinion, is not realistic. One trade can go wrong and then boom, you're at max loss. So I increased my risk tolerance, and this is the first time in my whole trading journey that I've basically hit max loss twice. And I feel like this month has been a very emotional month. But like I said, as long as you understand your why, you'll hold strong. And we're here now.
Right. And you're green on the month still. I mean, those
Yeah.
those max loss days are not these huge anomalies. No pun intended, but it's like it's still within, specification. And $13,000, can't complain.
Yeah, I cannot complain at all. I cannot complain.
So
And
what are you up on? So then on the year, since
on the year,
on the year, what
yes.
are you up on the year then?
Let me show you. So this is including the days when since February 27th and these big
Okay.
outlier red days. So my stats don't really represent everything.
But
And then
159,000.
159,000. So just about 160. And then just like this shows,
Wow.
May 5th was when I bought the course around this time. And then May 20th, once I actually like, okay, put everything on a spreadsheet, stuff like that. And things have just been
Yeah,
really
that's a
good.
beautiful looking chart. I
Yeah.
mean, and next year, who knows what next year is going to bring. I see you have your accuracy is a little bit higher than mine at 53%, which is
Oops.
good.
So this is what I was saying as well. Like when we are talking earlier, I'm not sure if I can move that. There you go. So since May 20th, just about the same accuracy is 52 to 46. So there's still things, guys, when you become profitable, in all honesty, that's just not the end of the road. There's still so many things you're gonna deal with, emotion, share sizing. There's still this rabbit hole that I'm digging that, yo, this is still things I need to learn. I need to improve on. And yeah, it's just like a never ending learning journey. And it's crazy.
Yeah, that I mean that, your story is one of the more intense ones I've heard, coming from, the military and then going, to jail and then coming out of that, a stronger person. And I loved what you said with the whole when you're down low is really where you find yourself.
Yeah,
Is where you
100%.
really, and sometimes for me, I kind of need a kick in the pants sometimes. Um, you know, for example, when I'm in a really big drawdown or even in life, it's just like, that's the time where you got to dig deep and push through.
Yeah, for sure. And I also want to tell people like that are watching you, don't only pay attention to what you're saying, pay attention to what you do. You know what I mean? What does Farmer do when he's in a drawdown? What does he do when he takes a big win? Stuff like that. And little things that once you start picking up on, it all comes together to get you to that profitability. Like even something as simple as seeing you get up and walk away from the screen here and there. Like man, I can't emphasize it enough that I think I walk away from the screen more than anyone can count during the day. But little things like that to put together really helps, and having a consistent approach really helps too.
Right. And you're still on your first year. I mean, to be up 160,000, what I consider, and we're starting from basically May, is I mean, this is definitely above average from what I see. But I mean, it's cool to see you taking out that loan. You're taking such everything was meant to hold you back, and you pushed through to where you are now. And I didn't even know, like, guys, by the way, I did not know his whole backstory. Like that is something that just hit me right now, like where it's like I'm learning about him too right now. And that's like, hopefully very motivational to you guys as you guys are also, maybe struggling and still learning. And, I love this sheet that you made here. I mean, I think that's just like that. When I see someone do stuff like that, take the time to put that together, that's a lot of successful people I see. They do, what could be weird to other people. I mean, you put the time in. You even got pictures of
Yeah.
I mean, this is like above and beyond. This is like extra credit plus. And so, it's crazy. You answered, a lot of my questions. I didn't know if you were done. Were you did you have some more stuff to share?
Um, really just want to emphasize to really pay attention to what you do, guys. Like if you're really trying to learn this, the 50-50 strategy, the trading farmer strategy, I really recommend not only pay attention to what you say, but pay attention to what you do. You know what I mean? Where's his biggest trades? Where's his outlier losses? And what does he do on certain like when I come into the day and I see like today, for example, I felt like there was a lot of noise today.
Hmm.
What does Farmer do? You know what I mean? What is his approach? And just those little things that you can seriously learn a lot from, that man, I can't emphasize it enough that, man, you're a great teacher. I don't want to gas you up too much, but you are
Yeah.
a you are a phenomenal teacher. You really have such a consistent approach, and it's insane. And there's still so much knowledge to learn from you. I'm not saying hey, I've cracked the code and I'm off my way to $1 million. I still have to. I still study your live streams. I still watch what you do. I still try to, but understand you would never. I would, in my honest opinion, I would never be able to replicate you. You know what I mean? I would never be able to replicate how long you hold trades, some size that you take. I'll never be able to replicate that. And I recommend to people that if you feel strong in a certain area and just because what you're doing they feel weak at doesn't make them mean that they can't do this strategy. Focus on your strengths while practicing your weaknesses and stuff like that, and eventually you'll never be able to replicate another trader, but you'll have that consistent approach of, hey, this is what I want, this is how I do this is what I do in this point, just little things like that.
Yeah, I appreciate the support, and I love your story and everything about it. So, thank you again for coming on. I mean, I think you answered all my questions. I mean, I would love to get you on again, and see you through the years. I hope you stick around in the Discord. So, guys, now that you've seen Anomaly, now you guys know a little bit more about them. I think we're gonna leave it at that, because that story of motivation of what you did to help get you to the next level, which is printing out this spreadsheet and pushing through, like that time you took the $1,000 loss and then 200. I mean, that's a lot of emotional pain and
It
a
was
setback.
It was brutal. Guys, when I tell you my mind was and had so much negative thoughts, you just have to flush it out. You know what I mean? Just like this book I read, Think and Grow Rich, you're just 3 feet away from gold. You know what I mean? Don't quit, don't give up. And obviously don't put yourself in an insane hole where you're down hundreds of thousands of dollars, but just believe in yourself. And if you really, really believe you can do something and you're obsessed with something, man, eventually the time will come where you do start seeing success. And don't judge success based on money. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's never based off money.
I like
So
that.
whether you're making $50 days and someone's making 1,000, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You're achieving success because you're progressively realizing that worthy ideal, and just keep going, never give up. And to also add transparency, man, after this, I'm gonna verify in Kinfo. That way you guys can get that extra form of
Extra
verification.
verification. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
if some
people like
people
that.
need,
Yeah.
I'll do that literally right after this. And yeah, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate the opportunity. Guys, this is a great community, a really, really good community. If you have questions, if you need people to talk to, there's people in the chat room. You know what I mean? If you need questions from me, please be aware I'm still learning. So some answers I can give you, some answers I'm still trying to figure out myself. But this is a great community to be a part of, and I'm truly blessed to be in this community and that I actually found this community. So, like I said, thank you again, Farmer, for having me on, and and yeah, it's been great.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. And I think that is a great way to close it out. And it's, we'll be keeping tabs on you, and of course, maybe some future videos. But yeah, thank you, Anomaly, for joining us. That will do it for today. This is some good stuff. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, but thank you, Anomaly. And to you guys, we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Thank you, guys.